This is Lux and Lens. For the single moms choosing growth over guilt, power over pain, and purpose over pressure. Raw conversations, real stories, no filters. Let's begin. Hi everyone, welcome back to Lux and Lens with Courtney and myself. We are so glad that you are here. Thank you again for all the support that you've given us. Thank you for all the views, the watches, the comments, the messages that we've received in support. We are delighted and we are blessed and we are grateful that you are here, that you are part of this journey with us. And today officially starts episode 1. So we've had our little preamble, our episode 0.1 and 0.2, and here we are with episode 1. So this will be a 4-week series, and what we are going to try and do is a couple of series so that it isn't just one topic, and we actually have time to really discover what's going on with these certain topic titles or headings or series. We do understand that last week's episode was a long one, but there was a lot of ground to cover and it did go deep. So if you haven't listened to that, that is episode 2 on Spotify, but this is actually episode 1. So I know it gets a bit confusing, but what's a woman without a little bit of confusion here and there? So I am going to hand it over to Courtney. And Courtney, thank you. I know that you are this is definitely your area of expertise. I know that you often bring it up, you often speak about it. And once we did mention it in the very, very first episode, we'll call it 0.1, I just found that it was quite interesting. All of a sudden, everything that I was seeing spoke about masculine and feminine energy. And that to me was like a sprinkle, here we go, this is what you need to talk about. So this is definitely something that I know of, but you are way better versed in it. Seem to know a lot more about it. And I think you've actually taught it with regards to your modeling and such, have you not? And your self-confidence courses and things that you do. So yes, ladies and gents, may I introduce Courtney and take it away.
Thanks so much, Ash. This is definitely one of the topics that I feel really, really passionate about. And before we go any further, I just want to make it very clear that discussing feminine and masculine energy isn't about men versus women or even men and women. It's not about how you should act or stereotypes. Feminine and masculine energy are ways of being. It's not the man and the woman. And I think that's where so many people get confused, is that men and women both have feminine and masculine energies. And depending on the circumstances and their life situations is very much how they show up and how they react to things, and also childhood traumas. So childhood traumas will then almost dictate how they respond in their adult lives to certain triggers, which then would either be more feminine in approach or more masculine in approach. So if any of the listeners have ever felt that they're too much or too sensitive or too strong or too intense or even just too emotional, I don't know, often women are told you're too emotional, but that's your feminine. Feminine energy is very emotionally attuned. And we are emotional because women in general are very deep feelers, but you also get men that have that, ability to feel really deeply. But men are always programmed from a young age to not be emotional. It's not strong to be emotional. It's weak. You're being weak if you show emotion, or if you care too much about something or someone, you're weak, which is so sad. Because, but that forces men to be in this ultra masculine, that then they are not even compatible with a woman in their full feminine because they're so hardened. But they're programmed from a young age to be that way. So it's really a catch-22, but it creates an imbalance. And I think that's what we're going to focus on, is the imbalance in the masculine and feminine, and then how to come back to self. So
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I do love this topic a lot, because I know what it's like, running a business or working full time, being a single mom. raising kids, keeping everything together. Like I'm still constantly in masculine energy. You know, my feminine and my ability to receive anything or to relax or to just be is like non-existent. My feminine is completely starved. So like if I'm alone at home, my house is clean, everything's sorted, I'm like, what do I do with this now? What do I do with what am I supposed to, like, I can't relax. How dare I relax? You know, I need to be active and proactive all the time.
And if
But
I
it's because
relax, things will fall apart.
Exactly. Or I'm just going to crash. If I let go of the reins, I will crash. And then what?
You're allowed.
But your masculine says you're not allowed to because you are the provider. You are the breadwinner. You are the protector. That is the masculine energy. Okay. And so the masculine says you're not allowed to do this, but the feminine is crying for relief. Okay. Does that make sense?
It does. So what are the trends? So what would characteristics of the masculine be first? And then let's talk about what the characteristics of the feminine would be.
So masculine energy is very structured, has direction, focus, strong boundaries, action, problem solving, very matter of fact. You know, it's very by the book, for lack of a better expression. You know, where feminine energy is more about flow. It's about creativity, intuition, emotional presence, emotional availability, even like receptivity. You know, we can be very receptive to people and energies around us, where the masculine doesn't have that as much as the feminine. Yes, to an extent, it's empathy. So if you've ever looked back at yourself when you've been in that ultra survival mode, most of the time you only see things from your perspective because you're in overdrive, masculine, protective, support, protect what is yours, and that includes your emotions. So when you are masculine and feminine, but your masculine is dominant, it overplays on protecting your feminine. But that's what creates that extreme imbalance, because your feminine wants to be more dominant in self than have your masculine more dominant. Because we're supposed to have a man that's in his masculine and a woman in her feminine. Not to say that we should not have any masculine in our characteristics, because everybody's got both. But when you feel that there's an imbalance, which we can talk about down the line, that's when you need to go back to self and say, okay, we need to do some introspection here and see why I'm feeling these things. What's triggering them? Can I fix it now? Or am I in survival mode where I don't have a choice? And I think that's the important, you know, differentiations. Because sometimes you don't have a choice but to be in a certain energy.
Okay. And while you're in that certain energy, is there kind of a way to shift out of it, or do we just go with the flow, or, you know, do we wait for a safe space to be able to allow the girl inside us out? You know,
yeah, that's a good question, Ash. For me, I found when you are very stressed, you can't force your energy. Your body hits high cortisol levels, your body goes into stress mode, survival mode, and the masculine kicks in. And if you try to override the masculine, you're going to find yourself having a nervous breakdown. So you actually have to really be very self-assured, do your introspection, find out what it is that you are needing to get that balance back. But to try and shame yourself or guilt trip yourself for being in that position would just make you spiral more out of control. You've got to be so balanced in how you try to balance those energies, because they're competitive. It's like yin and yang, you know. So the two energies,
one, you know, at a time. One's allowed center stage at a time.
Exactly. But if your body feels like it's in survival and it needs that masculine to come in, you can't force the feminine to override it. And I think that's what a lot of people then go into, that shaming themselves, you know, and that's where you start to get those feelings of depression.
Yes.
Is that you're saying, like, I'm not okay, but I can't put my finger on why I'm not okay.
Mm.
What is triggering?
Can you imagine if this had been taught to us when we were younger so that we could actually understand and fix it from a young age? So
I
for moms,
know.
for moms listening, if you do see these types of characteristics in your children, maybe this will give you some sort of insight as to what's going on, and then you can nurture that with your child. If they are having a rough time at school and they are starting to express the masculine side of the stress and maybe a bit of depression or whatever, at least this can possibly, we are not doctors, may I make that very clear,
Yes.
but can we possibly look at that and say, now we've got a few tools to kind of question what is going on behind the scenes as to why the child is acting like this or doing this or behaving like this. And then also,
Yes.
do you think that this is also referred to as our fight or flight? Do you think
Yes.
fight or flight has a lot to do with the masculine and feminine?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you're in the fight or flight, the masculine kicks in. Because remember, in olden days, women were always protected. We never had to be hard. We never had to compete with men. We never had to do all the hard things that we do in this day and age. And that was women in their, I mean, look at even us. We are career women, we're business owners, but at the same time, we crave being the homemaker and the nurturer. Like I can't say that I would choose to be a stay-at-home mom because I mean I did try being a stay-at-home mom once for 6 months, and it was revolting. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it out.
Yeah, it's not.
I felt like I felt like I couldn't have adult conversation anymore. I felt very feeble, for lack of a better expression. And that's my personal feeling. I look up to women that can be stay-at-home moms because I certainly couldn't do it. The washing from morning to night and cleaning morning to night, and all that you can talk to your husband about when he gets home is how many poo nappies and how much times you got vomited on, and the fact that you've done 26,000 loads of washing and watched every single Netflix show known to mankind. And now you've got nothing to do except still carry on cleaning poo nappies and vomit. So it was not my cup of tea. I did not love that. And also I felt like I wanted to achieve more, and I wanted success for myself in a business sense.
Yes.
As well as in the home.
Yes.
And that I think is that I just have a really good balance of masculine and feminine.
Because you've taught yourself how.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and look, I mean, I could be considered a stay-at-home mom because I work from home. But, on the days, and again, it could just be that whole masculine facade that I've got going. But if I'm not doing something, something is wrong. I cannot just sit and relax. So even if I'm in front of the TV, I have to do something. I have to crochet, or I have to, so when my folks passed away and we had to move into their house, the cottage that I was in, my desk was in the lounge. So while the TV was on and my boys were there, I was working. I was being productive. And that for me was good. Now I'm here and my office is in a different space to the family room. And it's taking a lot for me to get used to that when I go into that, because I love the space. But when I go in there, I've got to try and say, right, this is this brain's time. It's not work time. I have to switch off, and it's this brain's time. So then it is the handcrafts or something like that. And it is, but again, sorry, to get back to the point, it's,
we have dirt roads.
Yeah, there go our dirt roads. Thanks, Google, Google Maps. But it is, yes, I am a stay-at-home mother and I am homely and I don't like wearing shoes and such, but I do work from home. So I could not just sit at home. I could not. I would go demented, absolutely demented.
Yeah.
Just from a brain
I think
activity point of view.
Absolutely. But I think it also stems back to, everybody's different, has different priorities and different ambitions. And that's okay. Everybody's going to, get their joy out of something different.
Yes.
But I think you and I are just very similar in that sense. But I think what's important to reflect on is, and especially when trying to do introspection around masculine and feminine energy and how they play out in your life, is to ask yourself, like, which of these energies do you most notice in your life? So from in your day to day, which energies do you notice? And maybe like journal them so that you can actually look back and say, sure, from Monday to Wednesday, I was feeling mostly masculine. And Thursday, Friday, I felt more feminine. And then Saturday was my girly girl day where I felt like queen of the day, you know. I think it's so important to actually understand yourself and how you respond to things and how things affect you or trigger you. And when you sit down and you reflect and you introspect on how you've dealt with things, how you feel about things, what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, it really brings you back to self, where you can understand how you actually function. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. But we do need to just cover, like we've covered what the gents side of the energy is, but we haven't covered what the lady side of the energies are. Like what are the characteristics of feminine energy?
I think we did cover that. That's the flowing, the receptiveness. Yeah. I think we did.
That was right at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a sort of checklist that people can mark off. It's like, if I'm feeling this, and this. So it's the creativity,
empathy,
it's
the nurturing, creative. Yes, all of those.
And if I'm feeling theory and emotional, is that the girl coming out?
Yes, definitely more the feminine. Okay. So the feminine is far more in tune with their emotions, and the masculine is more practical. So the feminine is soft, fluffy, emotional, nurturing, and the masculine is very logical, very structured, very protective. That's the benchmark, and that's why it's so important that you do have a mix of the two, because you can't only be one. Like, can you imagine just being masculine? or having a man in your life that's only masculine? Like, it would be torturous. It would be like living in the army, you know.
I think sometimes they are, or they try to be, at least.
But this is the thing, and that's what I'm saying, is that so many men are programmed to not have any feminine energy in how they present themselves or how they behave or react, which is so wrong, because women need men to have an element of femininity to be able to connect with each other.
Yeah.
And if they can't connect with each other, if a woman cannot feel safe and grounded in a man's presence, they can never actually amalgamate effectively, because in essence, he actually can't be a soft landing for her, which she needs. As well as he needs somebody that's soft and emotionally in tuned and emotionally available. He also needs somebody that's got an element of logic and discipline and structure.
So that she can turn around and say to him, "You're being an idiot. You know, look at this from the emotional side. Just calm your socks."
But also where she can, like, almost understand his point of view, because she's got a healthy balance of masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Where if you don't have that healthy balance of masculine and feminine, you will never understand the masculine perspective, as well as a highly masculine man will never understand the feminine perspective if he's cut off his feminine. And therein lies a problem in a lot of relationships, just as an example. Never mind not understanding yourself. But I think that leads to the next reflective question to ask yourself is, where do you feel most restricted or blocked? Because then that will also tell you where your imbalance lies.
Okay. Can you expand on that?
So masculine and feminine energies always present themselves in how you react to things. Okay. And how you are in situations. What do you fall to when the kids are upset? Are you immediately frustrated, or do you want to crumble and just go and sit with them and cuddle them and let everything else fall to shit? So, excuse my French. Sorry about that. But you know, sometimes
not made for children.
But sometimes you literally, so the feminine will drop everything for the children and be like, you know what, the kitchen can stay dirty for 6 years if my child's sick, you know. Where a masculine will be like, I need order, I need structure, the children need to fall in line, you know. And And that's not, like I said in the beginning when I opened, is it's not men and women. I'm not
Yes.
saying that that's how
Yes.
men are. I'm talking about energies.
Yes.
Because I think it's so important that both men and women have balance of both, and that it's not seen as a gender war. It's not a gender war. And even my comments, like, I really believe that there's, women do need men in their lives for various reasons. But yeah, you'll see in situations how you respond, how you react, and then you'll feel that sometimes maybe you fall back into feminine responses where you're very submissive, or you're very overgiving, or very emotionally invested in things, instead of saying, hold the phone. Actually, I'm not going to take X, Y, and Z, and actually the da 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 da. So, like, for me, if I'm emotionally invested with someone, I find it very hard to stand up for myself or to say no. But often the feminine energy is very self-sacrificial. We sacrifice ourselves for the benefit of our families, or the children, or our friends, or our family, extended family, I mean, is like that. Yeah, it's a self-sacrificial act. I do it all the time. It's one of the things I hate about myself, because sometimes I'm like, for shit's sake, Courtney, why can you not say no? What is wrong with you? And then I'll be like, well, I don't want to let people down, and they need me. And what if I need someone one day and now I've said no? But majority of the people that I'm always yes girl to are nowhere to be seen when I need help.
Exactly.
So being the yes girl frustrates my masculine to the max. And my masculine will often like ask me WTF, and I'll be like, I'm sorry. You lost this battle, buddy. You lost this battle. And I actually reflect on it a lot. Yeah, I reflect on it a lot, and I do say to myself, this is something that I know does bug me, but it's part of how I'm wired. So I also need to make peace with the fact that I enjoy giving. I am a giver, and I'm also a healer. So for me to say no feels like I'm almost rejecting my calling. Does that make sense?
It does. It really, really, you're going against your inert grain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is to be there for people, to help them through tough situations, to show love and care and affection and concern and nurture and guide. It's very much who I am and how I'm wired. And that is something that I can't change, but my masculine hates that about me. It's like, learn to say no.
I'm going to ask you a question here, because I'm sharing dirty secrets.
Yeah.
Have you ever used your children as an excuse to get out of something? I have, all the time.
You know what?
Especially when
I'm so bad. I'm so bad that I feel, and this is another flaw of mine, is I'm not good at lying. Like, you can see it on my face when I lie. And also, because I'm always scared, like, what if I get caught out and then they think, what else am I lying about? And a lot of the time, because I never hold on to negativity, I can't remember. I can't even, like, if you and I have a fight, I'm not going to remember in 3 weeks' time what we fought about. Like, that's gone. Like, I don't know. So if I tell a lie and you ask me in 3 months' time, like, oh, shame, your kids were so sick, are they better now? I'll be like, what do you mean? They've never been sick.
Oh,
no.
So I would never lie. What I would do is like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't, because, I've got the boys this weekend. Or, do you see what I'm saying? So it's never a lie.
Unfortunately, I don't have my kids on the weekend. Terrence and I have made our arrangements because he's always busy in the week.
Yes.
I have them in the week and he has them on the weekends. And especially when I was running ACE and running the modeling academy, and I was busy every single weekend, I was doing the makeup classes. It was a lot. And that was when we first got divorced. So I was working Monday to Friday full time, and then doing ACE Wednesday nights and then Saturdays and Sundays. So I didn't actually have them. And a lot of my saying no was really based on the fact that I literally had no time to do anything except try and make money
and breathe. And now tell me, here's a question. With all of that responsibility that you were dealing with, so basically, in essence, running, say, 4 different businesses, okay? So the working full time and then all the add-ons.
Yeah.
I know, because I remember looking at your schedule and thinking, this girl is going to burn out shortly, because it was hectic. and I was involved
Yeah.
in some of the operations and such. But it was I was waiting for the fall apart, but I didn't know you well enough to warn you. Do you know what I mean? Because you can see things coming, but you don't want to step into somebody's face and say, "You better chill, chick." You know, it's just it's a bit rude. But with all of that, how was your energy? How did the energy flow? Because clearly you must have had to be in masculine all the time to keep everything in place.
Chronic masculine. And I can't lie, I'm still in my masculine. I still am heavily masculine in how I deal with everything in my life. You know, I'm one of those people. I mean, I watched my mom dying for 23 years. And every single day, except for the days that she literally could not get herself out of bed, she would get out of bed and she would go to work. She would stop at the shop. She would do all the things. And so for me, I feel like, how dare I, being alive, not on my way to heaven,
and fit and healthy.
Yeah. How dare I, if she can do it for 23 years, where's my permission to be useless? You know, it's like, you just don't give yourself an option, but to keep going.
But do you feel that maybe she should have taken some time?
You know what? I think for her, I think that's actually having the purpose is what kept her alive as long as she was. So, you know, I think that's why everybody is so different, and you just really have to understand yourself. And I think that's part of why I decided to close ACE as well, was that I knew that it was not giving me what I needed out of it. I was financially strained, trying to work full time as well as feeding money into businesses that were not growing themselves, and in a community that expects work for free. So in my mind, I'm investing money, I'm investing time, energy. Energy is the highest currency in the world, is the energy that you invest into things, because you can never get it back. Does energy have a price tag? No, it doesn't. Does time even have a price tag? I mean, I was taking time away from my kids. I was taking time away from recuperating for very little financial return and extremely little emotional return. I had a few diehard loyal clients and students that I loved with my whole heart, but I got backstabbed a lot as well. And so when I took a step back, I was like, for what? Why am I exposing myself so heavily, investing so much of my heart and soul into something that cannot give back to me in the way that I need?
Exactly.
And that was the deciding factor. And that's also, I looked at it and I said, if I continue down this road, where am I going? I'm going down Burn Street Central. I will burn out. My health will take a knock, and it will be a goner anyway. And then who suffers? My children and myself. And I'll suffer financially, mentally, emotionally, and it just was not worth the price tag. And I think that's, again, you've got to be so self-aware, know of, you know, what you're doing, what you're choosing to do, what your end goal is, and does it feed back to you or not? And I think that's why also, going back to our topic, is that balance between masculine and feminine is so important, because my feminine didn't want to give in there. I love my students, but my masculine said to me, does this make sense?
So your masculine saved you.
Yeah. Being in hyper survival mode was like, you need to wake up. This is not a fantasy. And if you're seeing that you've invested so much time and it's not getting you to the place that you want to be, and all that you're being offered is, please work for free, please work for free, please work for free, that who works for free? Do you know what I'm saying?
Please, can you come and talk about us for good exposure? It'll be good exposure for you. Yes, but exposure doesn't feed my children.
Exactly. And also, is it exposure enough? Do you know what I'm saying? And in Pietermaritzburg, businesses don't get supported. New businesses, amazing businesses will open, and people won't go and support. I don't know what it is, but it is a chronic illness within Pietermaritzburg.
No, you're absolutely right. I totally agree. I totally agree.
And the freebie vibe is not beneficial to anyone, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay, Courts, we are down to about 5 minutes. Do you want to kind of wrap it up, give some pointers and some tips about what people can either look for or how they can handle it or how they can start doing the introspection to be able to understand which side of the fence they're sitting on right now?
Yeah. Well, I think I would like to just touch on, the cost of imbalance in feminine and masculine energies, and that living constantly in a masculine energy comes with a cost. It's the burnout, because you're constantly in that survival mode, resentment,
Yes.
numbness, disconnection, relationships feel off, even dating. It feels like, for me, dating has felt frustrating, and basically it lands up just collapsing.
Mm.
And this is when, like, a person is constantly operating in a survival masculine mode.
I think that's why I
You
gave
know,
up on the whole dating scene.
ditto. But I think for me, like, I was trying to date while juggling, moving, kids, working full time, running two separate businesses of my own, while always trying to come across like as strong and independent and organized.
Mm.
But and I still am exhausted.
Yes.
Come 8:30, I'm like, okay, kids, your mother needs to get into bed. Are we ready?
Yes.
And they're like, Mom, it's 8:30. And I'm like,
exactly, we're late. Bedtime was half an hour ago.
Do not let this clock get to 8:31.
Now.
Oh, but it's also that with that exhaustion, you become emotionally unavailable. And
Yes.
I found I was acting, and I say this with all due respect, but a little bit like a man. Like, I was like, well, what am I getting out of this? Because I'm not willing to give unless I'm getting.
Yes.
Which is not feminine. It's a masculine characteristic to be like, well, what am I getting out of this?
Mm.
And so it just became really frustrating. But at the same time, it's like you feel pressured to always be strong, to always be perfect, to always be on point. And you don't give yourself any grace.
Mm.
And I think that's something that is so needed as a female.
Yes.
We need grace and permission to just be.
Yeah.
So I think, like, for me, it's asking yourself, the state that you are in, what is the cost? And do you need to change the energy that you show up in? Or are you in balance or out of balance? Do you even know? Do most people even? I mean, do you know off the bat, Ash, if you are?
No, I know for a fact that I'm in masculine, and I've always been in masculine because I've had to be in survival mode since I was a child. So again, that's why I say I kind of given up on the dating thing, because I'm like, it's been a week, but it's because I'm operating from something that's too strong. So they come across as weak. They're probably trying to balance me, just listening to what you're saying, and it ain't working.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's absolutely right. But I think also, I think so many people will look at the idea of balance and see it as like almost you having to give up your strength. Like, I know I'm petrified to let go of my masculine, because I feel like my masculine energy is currently what protects me.
But it does.
From reality and life. Yeah. Well, this is the problem. And I think, it means creating space to act without overdoing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
But also to then allow yourself that grace to rest and to feel. And where you allow yourself to be soft in your feminine, but still strong enough to show up for yourself in the way that you need. And I think that's what balance looks like in balancing the masculine and the feminine. So yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents. Okay. So, Ash, from my input and what I've said through the masculine and feminine energy, obviously I've done most of the talking today. But have you felt like anything specifically resonated with you?
Well, number one, I thought I knew about masculine and feminine energy, and I have learned so much. So I am very grateful for the fact that you did all the talking because you taught me a lot. And what I would say is that, at least it's given me an understanding as to and a reason as to why I react in certain ways. And also, if I'm having a bad day, why I kind of try and take it out on the boys, even though I don't mean to, or
Mm.
how when I am feeling free and it is more of a breathing day, because you can definitely feel the way I feel it in my chest. I know people feel it in different areas of their body, but I feel it in my
Yes.
chest. So when my chest is tight, clearly the masculine kicks in. And
Mm.
when my chest is free and open and I feel like, oh, wait, now I want to go and draw, or I want to go and work in the garden, or I know, let's create fairy lights here, or whatever it is, I need to journal. Then I also feel that I tend to react and respond and include the boys a lot more. So
Mm.
clearly that is, so now at least I have a much better understanding as to the why that happens.
Yes.
So yes, it's definitely clarified and explained a lot to me as to why things happen the way, or why my body reacts the way it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. It's
Thank
always
you.
it's so amazing to hear, how we can help each other always, through our experiences, our life experiences, things that we've studied, things that we've learned. Some things the easy way, some things the hard way. But I think that's why I just love this platform, is that we're actually able to come through and help each other.
Indeed.
And I know things that you won't know, you'll know things that I don't know. And
Mm.
it's so valuable to be able to have a space to share and to grow and evolve in. So
Indeed.
thank you as well.
Oh no, thank you. I mean, you've opened up the eyes, or certainly, like I say, a lot of explanation here, which is just, I always like to know the why. Why are
Yes.
things? Why do I feel this way? Why is this happening and such? Because if I know why, so why
Mhm.
have I got a headache? Oh, it's because I didn't sleep last night. Okay, well then
Yeah,
that makes sense, you know.
absolutely.
So
It's
yes,
so valuable to understand yourself.
exactly, and it does. I don't know, it creates a freedom. It really, really does
Absolutely.
create a freedom when you do start understanding what's going on. And it also gives you the tools to be able to react properly instead of just, how do they
Mhm.
say, what is it? It's not
React.
reactive, or
So you want to be responsive, not
yes, not
reactive.
reactive. That's it. Yes. Yeah, definitely. So I think,
Yeah.
to our listeners and our viewers, if you've got any questions about this, please pop them in the comments to us. And then we can answer them within the next 3 weeks and such as we go forward with the series. But yeah, so back to you, Courts, because I'm loving this.
And I think also, if any of the listeners have anything specific that they would like us to touch on in upcoming episodes, to also let us know.
Mm,
We'll pop our email address also in the description,
indeed.
and you're welcome to email us. But we just want to say from Ash and I a massive thank you for joining us this evening. And if this resonated with you as well, then we'd love for you to share it with someone who you think might need it, and reflect on your own energies, your survival patterns, and start practicing balance. And I said to Ash, I think I'll drop some journal prompts in the description below, and you guys can take that and do with it what you like. But until next time, breathe and notice, and remember, you're never too much. You're coming home to yourself.
I love that. I love that so much. So, so much, because it is true. We're learning how to be better asses.
Yes. And you know what? I've always said to my models as well when I had ACE was, the whole purpose of life is to become better every day, to become a better version of yourself tomorrow than you were today.
Mm. And whatever.
And And you can only do that through introspection. Where did I go wrong? Am I on the path to what my life's journey is? And do people even know what their life journey is? Most people don't. People wake up, they roll one day into the next. Certain things are valuable to them for 2 years, and then they lose interest in that and they shift to something else. So introspection, understanding who you are, what your life journey is so crucial to being a well-rounded, happy individual.
The one
I
thing
don't say that from a place of wholeness and happiness, but I'm certainly on my path to trying to achieve that.
we all are. I think that's life's journey. But I did hear
Yes.
an analogy which I've always enjoyed. That they say, if you take a flight path or a flight pattern, they're going in a direction. If they make like a half a degree deviation, all of a sudden it does that. So
Yes.
one teeny, even if it's half a degree, even if it's one action that deviates you from the path that you're on today onto the path that you should be, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of days, in a couple of years, you are going to be so much further along that path. And this is all the way over here. So exactly. Tiny changes today have everlasting effect. So don't think it's too late. It's not. It's really
never
too
late. It is absolutely never too late. And I think that's the most important thing is if you feel stuck in your situation or your life, it's never too late to make a change. And the only person that has the steering wheel is you.
Yes, 100%. Love it. Scary, but love it.
I know, and this is where self-trust comes in. Remember, we spoke about self-trust in our deep dive into who we are, is how crucial self-trust is. And when you have that steering wheel in hand, it's like when you drive a car. You trust yourself to get yourself from A to B safely. And in life, you've got to do the same.
Yeah, because it is quite scary. Sometimes you land up at B and you think, I don't get you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Courts, thank you very, very much. Ladies and gents, if there are any, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to those prompts in the description. And like we say again, please, if there's anything you want us to touch on, if there's any way that Courtney and I can assist you, you must let us know and we will do what we can to make that happen or to at least help wherever we can. Have a beautiful week. Tomorrow's Monday. So this will go live on YouTube on Wednesday. We upload an episode every Sunday evening onto Spotify, and YouTube is Wednesday. So we will see you, or we will be in your ears. And we will see you again next Sunday. Courtney, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Delightful. Well done. It was lovely.
Thank you so much, Ash. Lovely to chat with you again.
Definitely.
And
always
we'll see you next Sunday.
Absolutely. Cheers, Courts.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for spending this time with us. Follow, subscribe, and share Lux and Lens with the woman who needs it. We're rising together. We'll see you next week. Bye.